Hey, hey. Also, can I drink this aloe vera right here?
You can. I've had people
Okay.
smoking, had people drinking. In fact, I'm gonna take a little puff right now.
Oh, look at God. Yes.
Beauty of Los Angeles, Southern California.
Big ups to the legal.
Right? It's kind of crazy. It still hasn't like fully settled in yet. Like I still feel like someone's gonna find me and like slap me up, lock me up on the spot. But it's been pretty chill so far. I'm fucking with it. So today we have Dezmond Dane. Can you start off by introducing yourself, a little bit about who you are,
Uh,
what you do?
I'm never good at intros. What's going on? I'm Desmond Dane. Initially a Boston rapper, moved to Queens, so now we out here in Queens, New York.
Okay.
22. Just a regular schmegular degular rap guy who just likes to do lyrical things with the words.
Okay.
If you like emotional music, you're gonna like me, I promise.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So explain your music, and we'll get back to the introduction in a second. But it's R&B and singing, kind of jazzy, sampled, right?
I be trying to sing, but it's really like it's a mix between like the rap singing wave of like Bryson Tiller and the more lyrical and like introspective sides of like an early onset Kendrick Lamar, like a Section 80s kind of
Yeah.
thing, where it's like very much so lyrical and like super in depth and very introspective, because I like to rap primarily about things that are like more personal to me when it comes to like emotion or when it comes to just experience, obviously. But um yeah, like, and that kind of shapes the way that I'll make a song and like the way that I'll take it in terms of direction and meaning and things like that. But what it comes down to in terms of singing and stuff is really just melody. And for certain parts, like my voice is just deeper than the pits of the ocean, so it doesn't really help because like I try to be raising my voice and it just don't be working. But like, I do what I can, and I just the best part about it, I just be having fun, and that makes it all like 100% worth it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And how would you say growing up in Boston, and maybe how long have you spent in Queens?
Well, this is gonna be it'll be a year
Okay,
next month,
next month.
like a month and like 2 days. Yeah, it'll be a year.
We'll have a little anniversary party. Uh,
You feel me? I'm just Millie rocking and all that.
have you? Would you say that affected your style in any way? How you grew
Oh,
up?
absolutely.
And
I think like in terms of like, because the thing is, I lived in Boston for like 9 years as a youngin. Moved to California, lived in California for 7 years, and then moved back to Massachusetts to finish up my high school. And then since I've been in college, I've gone to lived in Massachusetts, and then I moved here being Queens at the end of my collegiate stint. So it's like I've kind of been all around the place or all over the place. Also, I went to University of Massachusetts Amherst. Shout out to Amherst. But yeah, like it's everywhere that I've been has definitely played a big part into like the way that I approach music. Like initially when I just been primarily pulling from like Boston roots, because when it comes to Massachusetts music and Boston music, it's really it's very, and like this isn't like a disrespectful thing, but it's very one dimensional. Like everybody kind of goes for this one particular sound that they just want to pop. And then as soon as it pops and you realize that that's all that you really have, there's nothing to kind of build off of. So in terms of like inspiration and in terms of like pulling from different artists, you're kind of pulling from the same well of inspiration because everybody kind of works in the same, like the same mannerisms.
yeah,
But when I came to New York, it was a lot more musicality and a lot more like just everything sounded so much fuller musically. Like the people that I would talk to, I'd be like, yeah, like I remember I linked like the week after I moved to New York. I linked up with this dude and like we were having a full conversation for like an hour and a half at this like networking event. And I'm like, yeah, bro. So like, how long you been doing music for? He's like, oh, I've been doing this for like 2 or 3 years. I'm like, how old are you? He's like, oh, I'm like 16. I'm like, what?
yeah,
Like, it's crazy. And like, he was making beautiful music, and it's not just like things that slap or things that kind of hit in the headphones. It was like music that did all of that and still had like depth in the way that it was transcribed, and depth in the way that it was formatted and set and sequenced and everything. Like there's so much more depth to music out here. And obviously, I mean, I feel like that's why a lot of people come out here to be like, oh yeah, no, I want to be a rapper, go to New York or LA. Like it's one of those two kind of places. And seeing how LA and like how San Diego music shaped my approach to it. So when I moved to New York, I wasn't necessarily caught off guard by the energy of how people move in the industry. So it's definitely kind of everywhere I've been and everybody I've met definitely played a massive part in like how I make music and how I approach it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Okay.
been talking a lot, bro. My fault.
No, you're straight. You're straight. You're good. But what about Boston in particular? What kind of sound would you say that that they're stuck in? I guess.
I would say it's like that. It's like the great value brand version of the South.
Oh,
Like to be honest, like if we're calling a spade, like
yeah.
it's a lot of trap. I mean, aside from you have dudes like what's the name, Jordan Lucas or Chris Focus or Kai the Series. Like you have dudes like that who rap, like dudes like that who can like spit and like actually like make you make the ill stank face when they spit a dope verse, like that kind of a thing. But for the most part, you just have a lot of melodic rappers who like, and it's not bad music. It's just that's what everybody's doing. And like when you want to create a sound, you can't have everybody on the same energy. Otherwise, you're gonna kill it before it even starts.
Yeah.
And everybody does the same kind of beats, same like 129 BPM instrumentals, same like just like staccato kind of flow things or whatever. Like it's just like, and it's not even staccato. I mean, it's really just kind of like just chopped up kind of things. But that's neither here nor there. The point being that it's very much so like it's very repetitive and like it works. Like it's the kind of thing where it's like if it ain't broke, why fix it? And it gets people to a position where they can financially support themselves and financially support their families and loved ones. And like I'm not gonna argue with that, but like as a person of the culture, I'm gonna sit here and be like, yo, if y'all want to develop like an artistic scene in Boston, because of the major cities, Boston needs a scene that's like a sound like that, and it definitely doesn't have that. And we just need more parity. Like we need more diversity when it comes to what it is that we make as artists within that scene. And we don't have a lot of that because the people that get the promotion and the people that get put on to different clubs and different performances and different and this, that, and whatever, all sound the same. So it's like a vicious cycle.
I see. That's interesting. Yeah, because even with like the South, like Southern music, I don't know, it's different, especially with like I don't know, relevant artists like Travis Scott or even Megan Thee Stallion or who else. Like they kind of just change in the way like the traditional Southern music, sounds.
That's the thing. Like they sound the same, but they don't. Like they use the same kind of like sounds, but they don't sound the same over them.
Right? It's not so much like the chocolate and spoon as much as it is like I just have a Southern accent, like I can rap.
Exactly.
Sounds nice with this kind of beat, like I fuck with that. But you mentioned the culture, which is something that I take very seriously when it comes to but serious is when I'm gonna say that. But what does the culture, mean to you in your own words when it comes to music, rap music?
What does the culture mean to me when it comes to rap music? Honestly, in an objective sense, it means everything. It means maintaining the respect for the people who got it here and maintaining the confidence that I can carry it to where it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of comprises of a lot of different things, but I think that the culture in and of itself, I mean, hip hop is not just music, it's art, it's creative expression through means of trials, tribulations, it's personality personified. But it's the culture is something that it's one of those things where you're supposed to really take care of it, and not like in the sense of just like, oh yeah, nah, like I'm just gonna keep like, we need more of these kind of rappers. I mean, more about like it's not like about balance. It's about respecting it and respecting it's a big respect thing for me. And that's like personally, it's why I have a lot of issue with a lot of people when it comes to rapping and when it comes to music, because I feel like nobody respects the culture like that anymore. Like people respect the artist, but nobody respects the culture.
Yeah.
Like the music, like it's just like the music and the the instrumentation and all of that, and like the way that people spit over a beat, like all of that is cool, fine, great, sensational. Like nobody argues that. But the point that like people just like to disagree with is that, oh, but like, you know, the culture is meant to be this and meant to be that. Like, nah, the culture of hip hop has always been at its core rap.
Yes.
That's it. Like that's point blank period. It like you're like you can talk to me all you want about how you sound. You're like, nah, like this is how I like that's great. So you do what you gotta do. But when it comes to the culture, I'm gonna be an objective. I'm gonna be a stickler about it. Like I'm super anal retentive when it comes to rap. So when people say that, oh, this person can rap, I'm gonna view it like I'm gonna view it like an old head and be like, okay, let me see if you can rap. And if you cannot rap, you cannot rap.
Facts. It's important. You know, you gotta keep the culture, the roots of the culture, what it's always been. You know, you gotta just maintain
Absolutely. It. Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's nothing wrong with change. Like there's nothing wrong with you know, like the trap rappers. And there's nothing wrong innately with like, you know, the sugar trap rappers, like the Rico Nasties, the Tierra Wax, the Doja Cats of the world. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And all of the femcs and shit that are coming out now are super fire. But it's like at the end of the day, like, and you have even now like people like Jermaine Dupri who used to be super into like super tapped into the culture is now making wild ass comments about how women in rap are only rapping about this, that, and the third. Like dudes like Pump, Perp, Wi-Fi's Funeral, all of them dudes been rapping about the same thing. And all the old rappers that a lot of niggas love been rapping the same thing. But now that women are doing it becomes a problem. Like you see how much the culture can seem shame. It can everything just it's frustrating because I just want it to be back to a time when people can just rap. Like that's what I like. Like I like when people can just spit.
You see that
that's it.
That video snippet with like that dude freestyling in New Orleans and then
Common jumped in? Yeah, that is hip hop. Like that is hip hop.
More stuff like that and less Takashi and less
bro.
Let's take it, bro. I mean, okay, take it. I don't know about to take it. Who else am I thinking of? What other trolls?
Blueface.
Is it Blueface?
Yeah, Blueface, like dudes like Blueface literally just blows up, makes the same song over and over and over, and you know it bumps, like it slaps in the headphones. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say that it don't, but like in the cultural standpoint, you're not really adding much to anything. Like you're just kind of existing within the sphere that is hip hop, and people are kind of feeding that they're feeding that that standpoint, and it doesn't help promote any music. It doesn't help promote any artists. It really just kind of puts people into the spotlight that don't necessarily deserve it.
I see. And speaking of promoting music and promoting artists, you recently had a feature with Color Studios, correct? For your
yes, sir.
On it all. Talk about that. How did that come into play?
Honestly, that was like, I'm not gonna hold you. That was probably like one of the that was a shot in the dark. Like we had me and the whole team had no idea we were gonna get that, like even remotely. But that's shout out to Brandon Yano, one of my now best friends, who was one of the people who helped get me into that position.
I see.
And that entire experience was a quick story about that. So before that trip, I'd never traveled outside of this country, like at all. I mean, I traveled to France like as a youngin, like as a super youngin, but like as a young adult, I had never gone nowhere. Really? So I got like I remember I got the notice that I was like they wanted me on, and it was out in Europe, and I was like, oh well, I mean I don't know how the hell I'm gonna get to Europe, but so I was living with my parents. I was like, yo, I told my mom and dad, and they were like, yo, this is super dope, this, that, or whatever. And then like a week later, they like switched up the tune, like they were not trying to let me go. I was like, oh word, say less. So I told them that I was about to go to New York with my mans for like a few days, and bought the ticket. Flew out to Germany, and I was in Germany alone by my damn self with nothing, had no phone service, had nothing. I was dead. I was existing for like 72 hours. Just
wow.
I just want to like it was that was definitely one of the most stressful, but like also one of the most incredible experiences of my life, because when I went, I remember the night before my show, I was staying at this hostel, and I was so nervous that I was gonna oversleep and miss like them coming to pick me up that I stayed up the whole night.
Wow.
And
Wow.
like they low key like they kind of fixed my eyes in the video, but like if you look real close, you can see my shits are stupid red. Like I am fatigued. Like I was wild nervous, but that was definitely one of the most amazing experiences. Shout out to Isaac. Shout out to Brandon. Yeah, shout out to all of them over there for that. For real, for real.
That's crazy, man. You snuck out. You snuck out of the country, bro. Not
Oh,
even.
bro, certified, certified. And you know what's had me really sick? I would have gotten away with it too on my Team Rocket and on my fucking on my Scooby Doo. I would have gotten away with it too. But I got back that Monday, I believe, and I put all my bags in my room or whatever,
Yeah.
and one sticker, a singular sticker, fell off my bag and like right in front of my father's doorstep.
Damn.
And he leaves the room and sees it. And then like a week later, he's like, yo, can I talk to you for a minute? And I was like, what's poppin'? And he's like, so what is this? He's like, can I see your passport? Because they had to stamp the shit. And I was like, damn. He's like, I didn't know you went to these countries. I was unaware. I was like, oh my God.
Wow. Were they cool with it? I mean, how did that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were tight, and then I showed them the video, and they were like, "Oh, that's fire!" I was like, "I told you." Like,
that's great. That's a great ending. Well, you mentioned your team. Kind of helped you get there.
Absolutely.
Who is this team? Because you so far this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this year you have 2 projects released, and then you have 1 more on the way, and then you also hinted at a 4th project also coming out this year. So,
yes, sir. The team. Ooh.
How are you? First of all, if you could tap into the creative process of what it takes to like actually flush all of these projects out, and then who on your team is, what roles are they taking and things like that.
Oh yeah. So in terms of like the team, first that's my photographer and like that's like everybody. First of all, everybody that I work with on my team is like my best. Like those are my close people. Like everybody who like I work with artistically and everybody who like I allow myself to be like, cause like just be a part of the creative process. And like, as I'll explain, like after like the creative process in terms of like just how I write and stuff is really personal. So anybody that I let into that means it's just like really close people to me. So my photographer is Nehemiah Brent. That's one of my best, like that's damn near blood to me. He's like my photographer, like personal, annoying person. Tristan Murata, who helps me deal with like a lot of personal management and things like that and time management and making sure that I stay on top of the deadlines that I set for myself. Mm-hmm. And Rohan Mudgal or Rohan .jpeg or JPG on Instagram and social media and all that good stuff. He does photography as well. He does videography. He's creative directing. He does graphic design. So all the videos, cover arts, and like super dope, like creative stuff when it comes to pictures and videos is all done by him. All the super dope photos and the way that they look and the way that they're edited are all done by Nehemiah. And all the super like consistent releases and the way that everything is scheduled and sequenced is helped by Tristan Murata. And then I just be the dude that rap.
Hey, the rap's not the most important part, but
I do what I can. but yeah, in the sense, what's up?
I'm saying it's a team effort. Everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So definitely, it's good to at least know that, because if you're doing all this by yourself, bro, I would be full, absolutely full. I don't know.
Oh no, I could never. I could never, bro. I tried the stress, but I'm too old for that.
It's good to have a team supporting you, and it seems like y'all are doing well.
We absolutely.
Yeah, great. Well, something else I wanted to ask you was, are you aware that you're on a platform called Viberate, I believe it's called?
I was completely unaware.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. It's like a blockchain-based, I don't know, it's like blockchain, anything about blockchain technology?
Honestly, I think I might have learned something about it because I read like a Reddit sub post about it like a year ago, but I'm very like I can connect the dots. Like if let's run with it. I can connect something.
All right. Well, it's it's just a blockchain-based platform, but it kind of like it gives a full flush out of like an artist's profile. So like all their, how many followers they've gained in the past month and where they're performing at and the most popular.
Really?
Yeah, like if you look it up, like everything about everything concerning your social media is pretty much on there. That's
I'm concerned. It's called Migrate.
Viberate. But it's kind of
Oh,
crazy because like I was thinking I've dabbled with some blockchain stuff in the past, and I know about this platform. So I'm like, dang, like are you really like are you that connected? But if not, that means I know like people can kind of like add you or add other artists themselves. So if
right.
you aren't doing that, then that means somebody else is out there out
I'm
there
about
trying
to
to.
say, let me see this.
I don't know. Shout out blockchain technology, by the way. So that's be the future.
To be honest, shout out to blockchain, yo.
Well,
I'm not mad at it.
are you checking it out right now?
Yeah, I mean, it looks very. First of all, I like this website. Shout out to them.
Yeah, right, it's pretty dope. But yeah, I mean that's like I don't know, just ring a few bells because it's still a new platform, new software, so no one really
Right.
no one's really using it. But if you want to claim that page, go for it.
Fire.
Somebody else has, but
Oh, listen.
well, let's talk
Let me
about
see. I gotta get myself.
let's talk about influences for a little bit.
Let's see.
Who I guess
Oh, beautiful.
what's up? Still am I right?
Oh yeah. No, I just had to make sure that I was straight on there. But I'm Gucci. What's poppin'?
I got you. Let's talk about influences for a little bit. And not just musical influences, but influences throughout your whole life. Like it's really from the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. Um, in terms of just everything from work ethic to how I approach people and like just how I want like to represent myself in any and everything that I do,
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely have to. I mean, obviously, I got to thank my mom and my dad for just kind of raising me to be this kind of a man that's like the kind of man that I can be proud of myself about being. Like I can wake up in the morning and be content with the way that I am and the way that I've grown in this hectic place we call life. It's there's a lot of things that I'm thankful for and a lot of things that I wish that I could have I've passed that I wish that I could have done better.
Mm-hmm.
But things that I have done, good and bad, and the things that I will do, good and bad, I know that I'm going to do them in the way that helps me best.
Okay.
And that's all thanks to my mom and dad, first and foremost, and my auntie, who just kind of, as an empathetic person and as an emotional person, like she definitely kind of helped me be more in tune with my like emotional side and with my more personal and just with how I feel and how and allowing myself to feel things.
Yeah.
And that kind of birthed how it is that I write music and how I do and how I approach songs and things like that. But definitely have to thank them. I have to. I definitely have to be very thankful and very influenced by the people that by the people that I've come across in life, but like on like a more important scale, like all the groups that I've been in, all the friendships that I've had, lost, and still have to this day. Um, yeah, like just generally like people in my life, like everybody in my life, I have immense love and appreciation for it. Albeit there are people who piss me off and people who think that be disrespectful towards me, but at the same time, I view everything in life as a learning experience nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm to be, it takes a lot. I don't know. I saw this. I read this quote the other day, and it was very true. It was, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and hoping it hurts the other person.
Hmm.
And that really rings to the way that I kind of just approach general negativity and things like that. Like I don't necessarily approach it from like oh nah, I need to get this person back to do this, that, and the third. And that's been obviously thanks to my mom, dad, my aunts, of course. And I just kind of view it as like at this point, everything that I learn is going to help me in the future if I allow it to.
Yeah.
So I give myself every opportunity to learn from any and all things. And yeah, I got to thank my brother, both my brothers, and my little sister, um, My brother Brandon, who's a better rapper than I am, but don't tell him that because it's God, the gas. My eldest brother Chad, who toughened me up, and my little sister Brianna, who just she's very honest when I make good things and when I make bad things, and she loves to tell me when I make trash stuff. So, but yeah, and then in terms of music, um, I'm influenced by literally anything that sounds good to me, but primarily dudes like Prince, God rest his soul, um, Andre 3000, Camp Lo, Pharoah Monch, Lupe Fiasco. That's like top three favorite rappers all time right there. Jay-Z, obviously, Kendrick Lamar, Mick Jenkins, Isaiah Rashad, Black, or how people like to say Six Black, Bryson Tiller, Ravina, Sylvan McHugh, like mad heads. Bryce Vine, Tone Stiff, mad people. Like like all of that music is stuff that I listen to on a daily, and like I'll listen to the way that they speak and listen to the things that they speak about, and really incorporate that into my own process. Not like the sound, but like the way that I approach it. Because if I do it into the sound, then it just becomes a mimic. Like I mean, granted, mimicry is the greatest form of flattery, but like I'm not looking to flatter people. I'm looking to be better. You feel me? But yeah, so those are like my influences artistically, and like those like without, and like people I've spoken to people like Sylvan McHugh on like a personal basis, and Ravina on a personal basis, and Tone Stiff on a personal basis, and Bryce Vine on a personal basis, and Bryson Tiller on a personal basis, and they're like all of them have played in a crazy big role when it comes to like just being honest and real with myself and letting that reflect in the music. Okay. And that's how songs like Monaco to Paris, One Way Ticket to Rome, and Rome Has Fallen are born, from like just complete vulnerability of song and complete vulnerability within myself. And it manifests into a beautiful thing. And it's like Rome Has Fallen is a 4-something minute song. And I wrote that in maybe like 30 minutes in the same, like in one span. And then I went and got the beat for it done. And then I finished that all in a day. Wow. Like that whole song was based around like around a breakup, and literally got off the phone, wrote the song, got the beat, and then recorded it like right after.
Wait, got off the phone like after the breakup?
Like, yeah, like literally the first thing that I did was write.
Wow, those are like pure lyrics right there. They're writing now.
Absolutely. Like, and that's my favorite. That's my by far like my favorite song that I've done. Like it feels so. It's my most authentic song to me. Like it's the song that most accurately depicts how I think and how I am. But yeah, like that's the wide ranging of influence and inspiration and thanks that I have to give. Sounds like I'm giving a Grammy nomination. I'd like to thank the Academy type thing.
I mean, it's nice insight though, if anything, just to learn what, not build the person I'm talking to, but helped influence the person I'm talking to. That's
for sure.
To know. So, not the last question, but close to, future plans. You hinted that you have a project coming out this month. 12 days? 12 days, is that right?
Hey, somebody's keeping track. Hey, today's the 14th, so July 26th, so 12 days.
I'm just saying.
Let's see. I'm so excited. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I got
album in blue, right?
Hey, yeah, the album in blue. I gotta get back to promoting it some more, but yeah, I got the matter of fact, I'll lob both the titles for these joints. So the album in blue is dropping July 26th, and that's like my so like this may take a little bit, but I promise it's worth it. So the way that I've been dropping music, just generally, like I started making music because it was a really therapeutic thing for me, and like that was way back, like a decade ago when I was young Dezmond. But it really was like a therapeutic thing, and it really like kind of helped me balance myself out. So when I started dropping music consistently, it became a thing of, okay, what is it that when I start this, how do I want to leave my mark? Like, how do I want to leave my initial mark on people? And the way that I approach it is I'm a big anime guy, right?
Nice.
So I see how they do things with like Dragon Ball Z and how they drop things in sagas, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So the way that I viewed it was like a saga. So every single part of the music that I've dropped from the beginning, like the first EP, the first project that I dropped was Wrath.
Mhm.
Then it was Perfect Timing 1. Then it was Crimson Rose. Then it was Imperfect Timing. Then it will be then it will be the album in blue, and then in November, the final project before the penultimate finish is Coyote, and that's like that's my more, if the album in blue is very melodic, very musical, like you mentioned earlier, like my music is more like R&B kind of things, like
Yeah.
that's more like we're leaning towards that direction with the album in
Okay.
blue. But if I'm leaning harder towards R&B in that one, then I'm leaning super towards just I'm out rapping everybody and their bald headed cousin on Coyote.
Coyote.
Coyote is going to be for the people who like, if you like bars, more
Mhm.
bars than a jail cell, more bars than a cell phone tower, you're gonna love Coyote. And if you like to sit in your room and cry at night, then you're gonna love the album in blue.
Got a little
And but
bit of
yeah,
everything for everybody.
absolutely. And the way that yeah, like I've dropped it all in a saga because it's like every project has been leading up to what's gonna be the album. And Crimson Rose was actually was a mixtape, though I approached it as like an album because I wanted it to feel and run like an album.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wrath was like my introduction to music and the way that I just wanted to kind of like it was like my childish side of like understanding musicality and at the same time understanding the technique of writing and rapping like for myself and not just rapping for other people. Because
Mhm.
I started off writing as a ghostwriter and like ghost producing for other people.
Okay.
But so that's like my introduction to that. Perfect Timing was more focused on getting better at rapping, getting better at the technique. Once I got better at that, I focused on Crimson Rose, which was not only focusing on doing the technique and the song making, but it's also learning how to tell a story and tell it properly. And then Imperfect Timing was raw emotion, completely unfiltered, and learning how to translate that into just great song and just great sonics altogether. The album in blue is me trying to find the balance between singing and rapping and trying to see if I can kind of meld that bridge in between. And
Mhm.
Coyote is finalizing the touches on the rap side. And the album is the culmination of all of that. So the end of this introspective saga of music that's being put out by myself
Mhm.
ends with the album. And then once the album comes out, it's on to the next one, which I
Interesting.
already have planned. But that's that's like a 5 year plan.
Yeah. So these are all building up. None of these projects are the album. This is all going to be either EPs or mixtapes or.
Absolutely. Well, Coyote's gonna kind of run like Crimson Rose. Coyote's gonna run like an album. The album in blue is more ironically it's called the album in blue, but it runs kind of like an EP. But it's yeah. So everything that I've dropped as of late is not been the album. Crimson Rose was not the album. Wrath was not the album. Perfect Timing or Imperfect Timing were not the album. Coyote and the album in blue are not the album. The
Okay.
album, insert name here that has already been found out, but I can't say it because I don't want to spoil it, is right there. Like I'm looking at it, but like
Yeah,
it's we're not there yet.
I see. I see. So, not just in a matter of time, it's going to be.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so excited, bro. I don't think you understand. Like that's my child. Like that's oh
Well, we're
child.
excited too, bro. I'm gonna be keeping an ear out for that.
Oh, absolutely. You know I'm about to send you all the updates, sir.
Hey, good looks, good looks. One thing that, oh, I should say, how I like to end each interview is by asking a kind of a philosophical, question, something that's going to make you think a little bit.
Oh,
Uh,
so nice.
so I just want to get right to it. The question is, what should be the goal of humanity, in your opinion?
Oh, to live a life that when all is said and done and your children are able to look back at you and look over your casket when you've passed and when you've gone on to the next life, that somebody else can look at and say that you've lived a full life by any standard.
A
I
full,
can a full life by your standard, a full life by my standard, a full life by the random dude in the middle of the street standard. Living a life that meant something not only to you but the people around you. You left a good mark on yourself. You left a good mark for the people that you raised, the people that you birthed. the friends that you made, the lovers that you had. It's the goal of humanity isn't necessarily to fix anything, in my opinion. I think we as people need to be able to understand and love our own lives and love the way that we exist as people individually before we can fix a single thing. Because I'm a big person of, and my music is is very indicative of that. I'm really into like introspection, really into, you know, self-awareness. And obviously I'm 22. There's a ton of things that I have yet to know, but the things that I do know when it comes to emotional stability and emotional, like, just consistency is that it takes time, but at the same time, you have to be willing to want to be patient with yourself. And patience is something that a lot of people don't necessarily want, ironically enough, because they don't have time to have it. So I think we as a people, as the woke folks would say, as the human race, we have a long way to go. But I think that the goal should always be, and to me, it's always been, living a life that when all is said and done, I can hold you through a red light, a green light, a yellow light, blue light, whatever. It will always look as beautiful as it does when I look at it straight through.
Interesting. I like that quote that you need to love the earth before you can fix it, or just you need to love before you can fix it. That's steep.
We dropping gems out here, boy.
What's up?
We dropping gems out here, boy.
Spitting bars. Damn, bro. I'm thinking about that now for a while, but I like that. I'm gonna be thinking about that the rest of the day today.
Hey, listen, pull up on somebody at the club with that. I promise you, you got it. I promise you, bro.
Bro, pickup lines 101. I got you.
Period.
Special black look.
Listen, like, as faithful Black kings, like, we have, like, I feel you, bro.
Looking out for one another. Well,
100%.
Dezmond Dane, I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me, bro. For real.
Of course. Now's the time. If you have any last things you want to say, any shout outs, let them rip.
Well, I mean, I gotta plug myself because, you know, I wouldn't be an artist if I didn't. Everything on all social media, you can find me at by Dezmond, BYDEZMOND, not an S, a Z, because I'm special. You can find me Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, MySpace, Napster, Ask Jeeves, LimeWire. You can find me literally everywhere. SoundCloud, Club Penguin, RuneScape. I'm all over the place. But yeah, you can follow me on anywhere. I got a project dropping in 2 weeks. Okay. Shout out to Nehemiah because he'd get mad if I didn't shout him out. Shout out to Emily, my homegirl. What else? Shout out to Brandon, my brother, and Drake and Kyle and Xavier. Shout out God, man. That man big. He fired, bro. Shout out to him. Shout out to God. You feel me? Shout out my mom and dad. Shout out my aunt. Shout out my family, everybody. I think that's it.